We are live. We are live. I must say, 2024 is crazy. Everybody's saying that. What am I saying? But the topic at hand. Recently, UFOs are really big. UAPs is also what they call them. So I get back into the UFO thing. Something when I was in early 20s, 18, 16. A lot of bullshit out there. A lot of fake niggas selling people shit. Like, one thing that got me, to switch topic real quick on the topic, but you can tour the country, write books, talk of some secret shit. No assassinations. There have been people that have died who said some stuff. I know it's stupid ass. Oh fuck, I forgot to close that goddamn. 1 second. I have kittens, I gotta be careful. Shut up, boo boo. Go on. Hush. Somebody kick your ass. Excuse the cat noises in the background. Oh shit, wires. I can't fucking stand wires, I swear. Okay. So what we looking at here is a massive change. You have the Abrahamic religions. The Jews right now are preparing for the Messiah. They have a red calf, apparently. We are, as a nation, possibly going to support genocide. Possibly support genocide, like I said. I hope not. We already are. Anyways, on the topic of UAPs, we're going to dive into the religious, demonic allegations, which, go in hand interdimensional. Are they aliens? When turns up there is evidence and there isn't evidence that they might be, which is wild. Damn, I'm about to kill these cats. Gotta make sure they ain't got no wires around. Don't try to shoot them up. But like I said, man, we're gonna dive into this one. We're gonna start off. I seen Hollywood demonic. What is that word called? Damn, what is that word called? No, not exorcism. When you take over your body, it's gonna fucking bother me. Oh my god. It's not cursed, it's not haunted. He's been possessed. God damn, that was there, but it just wasn't there. Anyways, possessed. I've heard and seen some things in my life. I don't know exactly what they are. No, I'm not gonna go by the Bible. It has, you know, it touches on things. But mankind is passed on corrupted documentation. The Muslims believe demonic can be good or evil. They have choice, but you're not supposed to interact with them carelessly. Of course, King Solomon had knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and was given dominion over both realms. So that's pretty. With the UAP shit going on, how his story ties into it too is insane. I got a lot of videos, man. I'm gonna hit up. We got from Bob Lazar, fucking Steven Spielberg, because I might have proof that he, ironically, apparently he's Jewish, has firsthand experience of probably seeing or being told things which have been put in his movie, and with movies, and then with footage released by the public. Dude, give me my fucking cigarette. Why would you do that? You smack my cigarette out my yeah, my cats. So yeah, I think he, you know, him and some other people, and CIA. You stop that! Let me smack it again. Hey, BB. Damn, a CIA agent or physicist. What the fuck is his name? Sargonian. Anyways, dude's Jewish too. It's just where Kanye West did. Anyways, he breaks down people he's talked to, and one of them works for Spielberg. You know what I'm talking about? Which is crazy, because like in War of the Worlds, why is it world? They seem kind of like demonic. But again, that's just, we're used to seeing one thing in our reality, and there's the reality we have not really fully grasped. So first video I got, I'm gonna react to is, I forgot dude's name. Let me see.
Caro Jordan was found dead in a suitcase. A mother who allegedly killed her 5-year-old son and stuffed his body in a suitcase, believing the boy.
Oh my god. My shit fucked up. Hang on. Where's my wattage? Here we go. This guy didn't even see his fucking Isaiah Saldivar, whatever the fuck that means. It is a last name. It means a lot of things. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shrink it down about this size right here. And dive in like some titties. Some titties. I don't know what the fuck I just said. Sorry, these other videos are Police, stop.
This is one of the things that, you know, the archaeologists
Cause they say
This cave shouldn't exist. In fact, those
little kid keeps trying my cat.
Caro Jordan was found dead in a suitcase. A mother who allegedly killed her 5-year-old son and stuffed his body in a suitcase, believing the boy was possessed. So she did this because she said the boy was possessed by a demon, when in reality, we're going to find out she was actually the one possessed by a demon. Guys, understand when heinous acts like this happen, it's usually rooted in the fact that a demon told her to do this, or a demon tells people to do this. Society doesn't know what to do about it, but the Bible gives us an antidote, and that is exorcism. That is to cast demons out of people. There's a reason why, Mark 1:39, Jesus went from synagogue to synagogue casting out demons. There's a reason why Jesus gave the disciples power to cast out demons. This is needed.
I think he just said what I said.
Needed.
Go. Shut the hell up. Oh shit, man, these cats. Oh my god. I'm about to flip the fuck out. I can't get comfortable. Okay, this is stressful. Alright, so this guy, I'm gonna talk about a woman who killed her son. He said he was possessed by demons. Do we know that? We don't know. I don't know how to tell if somebody is possessed. But I've seen people without life in their eyes. And I've seen people who look new to the world. You know, they're probably like 40. They just have that look like. So let's see what that look looks like. See if this lady, I don't know, she's probably scared the shit out of us. Let's see.
Okay, the story we're covering today is a really dark and sad one. If you're young, this video is not for you. If you're like probably 16 and under, click off this video. This lady 2 years ago said that her son was demon possessed, ended up killing her son and shoving him in a suitcase, and they've just arrested her, and now she's on trial right now. And what she does on trial is shocking. She literally starts manifesting a demon on trial. I make this video to make people aware of the reality of the demonic in our culture, and we desperately need Christians to stand up against this. What if she had a Christian in her life that knew how to cast out demons and was able to pray with her? Her son would probably still be alive today. So we as believers need to be equipped. We need to be trained. I'm going to cover the story and show you something shocking.
I thought I heard knocking. I was gonna say something. Respectfully, no disrespect to the Christian faith. How do you have credibility or authority to cast out demons? They say through Jesus. Or did Jesus give that to his disciples? I have to look that up right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna break this video down. Let's see, it gives men authority to equip his disciples for this task. Jesus gave them power and authority. In Luke 9:1-2, called together his 12 apostles and gave them a power to drive out all demons, to cure diseases. For example, he states that Jesus gave the apostles authority to drive out demons. So Jesus called together his 12 disciples and gave them power. So, 12 disciples or apostles is who was given authority. So, personally, I feel like he's got to come tell you. Like, tell you. You know what I mean? Get him! God damn these cats, huh? Stop. Go. Go, please. Damn, she's bad. Bad as hell.
Here we go. Let's jump in. So here's the headline. Mother arrested nearly 2 years after her 5-year-old son, Caro Jordan, was found dead in a suitcase. A mother who allegedly killed her 5-year-old son and stuffed his body in a suitcase, believing the boy was possessed.
Ironic.
So she did this because she said the boy was possessed by a demon, when in reality, we're going to find out she was actually the one possessed by a demon. Guys, understand when heinous acts like this happen, it's usually rooted in the fact that a demon told her to.
Yeah, he about to piss on the floor. Okay. Whew.
Do this. Or a demon tells people to do this. Society doesn't know what to do about it, but the Bible gives us an antidote, and that is exorcism. That is to cast demons out of people. There's a reason why, Mark 1:39, Jesus went from synagogue to synagogue casting out demons. There's a reason why Jesus gave the disciples power to cast out demons. This is needed in society today. These heinous crimes are usually the result of a demon. Okay, so she's arrested after running for 2 years. They couldn't find her for 2 years. DeJuan Anderson was taken into custody by U.S. Marshals in California, a suburb of Los Angeles, on Thursday. It's still a somber day, but very, very pleased and happy that we have who we believe was involved in a tragic murder case. At this time, the investigation can move forward, okay? So the alleged murderous mother who had been on the lam? I don't know what that means. Since April 2022 is being held in California as she waits expedition in Indiana. All right. She was suspected to have killed her son, Jordan, at her Louisville area home and was assisted by another woman, Dawn Elaine Coleman, to get rid of his body in a heavily wooded area.
Damn.
Jordan's body was found in a brightly colored suitcase with "Welcome to Fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada" written across it by a mushroom hunter in April 16, 2022. So she put her son in a suitcase. Again, so demonic, so dark, so sad. Investigators took nearly 6 months to identify the body. Police said he was found clean and clothed and believe he was already dead when he was placed in the suitcase. So here's a suitcase she placed him in. Again, so demonic, so dark, so vile. A warrant was issued, okay. Before the boy's death, she'd made a series of Facebook posts accusing her son of being demonic and needing an exorcism. So she's posting on Facebook, "My son's possessed and needs an exorcism," and then ends up, the demons in her told her to kill her son, which is just so tragic. All right. Okay, let's see.
Oh, man.
Face flushed up. Coleman, who had been staying with the mother and son in their Louisville home, admitted to walking to a bedroom where she witnessed Anderson laying on top of the child with his face flushed against the mattress. She said it was already done when she walked in the room, and Anderson asked her to help put Caro in a trash bag and then put him in the suitcase. So sad. The two then drove to Washington County in Indiana to dump the suitcase containing the boy's body. An autopsy report showed he died from electrolyte imbalance, most likely due to vomiting and diarrhea, which led to dehydration. So tragic. All right, so they catch her. Now, look at what happens here. They catch her. This is going to be her trial. This is what I want you guys to see. This is her on trial recently, 100% demon-possessed, and I want you to see how the demon manifests itself in this trial. Look at this. This is just the evilness in the world today.
F1-833, State of Indiana versus
Look at this.
DeJuan Anderson. Ms. Anderson, for the record, would you state your full name, please?
Yes, I am Princess Califia Hatan Tupac II.
Okay, so he says, state your name, and her response is, "I'm Princess Califia Hatan Tupac II." You know what's crazy is I've heard demons say these ancient names before. There was a famous boxer that was arguing back and forth with someone I covered a long time ago, and he was saying,
This nigga better not say Tupac is a demonic name.
you know, "I'm so-and-so from the tribe of so-and-so." These demons are ancient, And right here, literally, she's in court. This has just happened. And the demon speaks out of her and says the demon's name. The demon's name is Califia Hatan Tupac II. So
What?
blatantly demonized. Society has no clue what to do. And I didn't cover it in this video, but they're now trying to do a medical examination, a psychiatric examination on her, because they're saying, oh, she's just psycho. No, she's not psycho, she's demon possessed. And the demon's literally talking right here. Look at this.
Representing the entity, Dejan Anderson.
So the demon says its name.
Okay.
If you don't believe in demons,
I totally forgot. That's actually her name. Dijon. Her name is Dijon. Like Dijon.
I don't know what to tell you about this. What do you say to this? Now the demon speaks out of her and says, I'm representing the entity. That is, the demon lives in her. According to Matthew 12, demons live in us, and they call us their home. And then she says, I'm representing the entity Dejan Anderson, which is the girl's name.
Anderson.
You're known as Dejan Anderson.
I'm representing the entity as Dejan Anderson.
Dijon.
Straight manifesting a demon here.
Your date of birth?
My date of birth is February 2nd, 1961.
And that would make you how old?
That'll make me 63 years old.
Would you know she's not 63? This is the demon talking. She is not 63 years old.
And the last 4 digits, your social security number?
I do not have a social security number. I have a declaration of nationality underneath the Washita Moors of the Indigenous People of United Nations, Chapter 221593.
You can see in her eyes that demon's just manifesting.
What's your address?
My address is
I have to replay that because my fucking controller died.
Security number?
I do not have a social security number. I have a declaration of nationality underneath the Washita Moors of the Indigenous People of United Nations, Chapter 221593.
You can see in her eyes that demon's just manifesting.
What's your address?
My address is
That is a loud beep. I apologize for that. Wow. That is so loud. I'm sorry.
My nigga got a first cut. That's it. I like that fade he got going on. I think he go to a black bar.
Telephone number?
I don't know my contact number by heart. I believe it.
That is so loud.
It's any drugs including alcohol today?
No, I'm not.
You read and understand the English language?
Yes, I do.
If I say something you don't understand, will you let me know?
I will most definitely will.
Sanderson.
Man, she needs deliverance.
Officer Music, who's investigated this, looked for you for the past 2 years. And Prosecutor Hunt have charged you with 3 counts of criminal conduct. Count 1 is murder as a felony. Would indicate that between April the 10th, 2022 and April the 16th, 2022 in Washington County, state of Indiana.
This Friday,
You're making us wait.
the must-see movie of the spring arrives.
Want me to come check you in?
This is in date.
So that's part 1. Here's part 2.
And do you understand the potential penalties?
I do.
Do you intend to hire a lawyer, or is someone likely to hire a lawyer for you?
I want to file a motion for self-representation.
What you know, when you represent yourself, you're never going to win that case. You're never going
Understand
to.
if you do that,
I mean,
you are
people have.
required to conduct yourself
It's
as a
rare
lawyer
though. It's kind of a risk.
to be able to board our potential jurors, to abide by the rules of evidence, to abide by the rules of procedure.
I do understand that.
Oh, son of a bitch!
The anaconda needed to take a breath, and so the head popped up over there. Somebody
Needed in society today. These heinous crimes are usually the result of a demon.
I'm about to lose my shit, man. These cats.
Would indicate that between April the 10th,
File a motion for self-representation.
evidence, to abide by the rules of procedure.
What a tragic case. I'm glad that she's been caught and hopefully justice is served in this situation. But just a textbook example of the fact that we massively need deliverance in society. Now they're saying, well, we're going to put her under evaluation because maybe she's not even coherent to stand trial. Again, the world doesn't know what to do about demonization. This lady 1000% is demonized and needs deliverance, and yet the world goes, oh, she's just crazy. She's not crazy. There's something living in her that caused her to do this heinous crime and now is speaking through her in court. Yet the world still won't acknowledge that demons are real. The world still won't acknowledge that the supernatural is real. The church still turns a blind eye to the massive need for deliverance, the massive need to cast out demons, and goes, oh, well, you know, who knows? The life goes on. Guys, we need to be trained and equipped as the body of Christ. The ruler of this world is the devil, and his demons are wreaking havoc, and we're the only resistance.
What's ironic, let me go ahead and put it on that point. They will claim he rules this world. Okay. Going by that opinion, which, I mean, you know, I could see, but what does that make America? Now again, they do argue, oh, America's full of sin, this nation was found on Christian values and morals, but we're the leader of the world, the most powerful nation in the world, so was it founded on those? And granted, Satanism, right? Put the entities aside. Satanism means basically individualism. Our system has been rigged and corrupted to basically it creates individualism. Families are being broken apart, greed, people are so self-absorbed. Individualism, man. And the same note, I bet if I ask this guy, do you love America, you love this country? He'd probably say, yeah. No telling. Let's continue.
We're the only ones going to stop them. This is so blatant. Society continues to see demons manifesting. A demon literally speaking through her, and that video has millions of views. Yet people still close their eyes.
We don't know. Look, I've been in the court system, right? Been in jail. That's it, not prison, just jail. Did about like a total of 4 years. And in court. Boo-boo, stop! I wish I could have got that on camera. In court, people would lead people to believe they it's crazy, and they take it up a notch. And then when they get out of jail, they're fine. They put on medication or something. There was one guy, man. He's in a cell by himself. What was that? Classification, and across the hall was protected custody. So we could see protected. This nigga would come out, have cum on his face, just walk around, and he looked lost. Like his eyes. The first time he came up, because they have showers on our side. No, we had showers on this side. Somehow he was doing it. Anyways, he came up to my cell. And when he looked in, I felt it just I could see that being a demon. Dude looked possessed for real. But again, that lady seems like she's trying to play the mental unfit card. She's not fit to stand trial type shit. I don't know. People pull some shit when they're in court, man. They come to God, or they got a demon. Or they joined a gang, you don't know. But this was a waste of fucking time. This guy, Isaiah. I wanted to see the lady twitch her head and all that shit. Get the fuck away from me, please. I'll beat your ass. Cause you jumping on tape. No, go. Go. Get. I'll turn my back to you. So, let's keep digging, man. Let's keep. Gotta find something. Anyways, what got me on all this was Beck Lover on the Danny Jones podcast. And he was like, yo, the aliens, they're not who you think they are. They're demonic entities. Me, I'm just like, huh? At first. As he goes into it, breaking down the Quran. Read the Quran a little. Read the Bible. Dope. I'm not a follower. But I follow the path that is revealed to me. I learned that in the Quran. But the prophecies, the descriptions of things, really be hitting home. So you need nothing knock on my door at 4 o'clock in the morning. Sorry for the long pause. Somebody knocks on my door. It's really hard to hear back here. And people, they don't listen. I say, knock loud. They knock like this. Hey man, I knocked and nobody answered. You know what I'm saying? What do I do? Knock louder, nigga. Anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? Beck Lover. At the end of that podcast, I was like, damn, these might be demons. He jumped on Alex Crawley, somebody else, and then I watched another Danny Jones podcast where the Jewish physicist, he was name dropping people like Steven Spielberg. He had a animator that worked under him that had a father or an uncle who was in possession of material from a crash ship. So it was like aluminum. You could crush it up and it just flopped out flat. Back to its original shape. Whatever shape it was in, it went back into. You couldn't break it. He said the plasma cutter was like the closest thing to it. Man, oh man. My thing is though, what is the Bible and the Quran really leave blank areas where you're like, okay, if these things exist, how do I really tell them to fuck off? Because you're not supposed to interact with them. You're not supposed to talk to them. A lot of people that can predict things in the future, blah, blah, blah. There's probably math behind it, but the majority of them apparently have contact with these beings because they can live for a lot longer than we can. And they're going to have greater knowledge. So again, these crafts could be theirs. So I'm stuck on how are we going to go about this. Let's go to the physicist. Now granted, I've lost me bone. Cause I don't run away, boy, I asked to be away. So we're gonna find this nigga Black Glover.
next would be big brain, but it turns out not to be the case, and the first change really is a different type of locomotion. And what that means is that it is the ability to walk upright that likely led to the big brain as opposed to the other way around.
Do we have any evidence whatsoever that can point to potential lingual patterns in communication?
The first evidence lingual pattern is in a...
So I had...
We're gonna get there. I just gotta... These always get me.
You hate Jesus.
Why do you hate Jesus?
He's just not real. He's just not real.
Christianity is the most mocked religion. Like, we want to look at religions with respect and dignity.
About new life, about...
If you were an evil individual, record executive that wanted to create a system that could extract as much wealth from the artists that you possibly could, given the technology that exists right now, how would it look?
Easy money.
Okay.
You create somebody who is the most radical persona and image of counterculture as possible.
Yo, this is a pretty crazy video. And in the midst of everything going on in the world right now, like, you know, Israel and Palestine, now Iran, and then you have all the crazy agendas being promoted all over the place, and people don't even know what a woman is anymore, or, you know, just all the craziness. Like, can we be real? Has it not seemed like it's just gotten weirder and weirder over the past few years?
So let's do the physics. Now we'll break down the video I see. He goes into he even talks about craft or controlled by the mind. You thinking it takes you there. Second, what really stood out to me at the moment I could think of was Steven Spielberg again. This is a Universal Studios, which is wild. If it's Paramount, Paramount has those stars that fall from the sky and flies over. It's crazy. Crazy as shit. It's like you don't want to believe it, but you have to, because it's right there in your fucking face. Jack Sarafardi is this nigga's name. He's Jewish and you knew it. You're gonna do weak blue. Okay.
And takes it back. Okay. So now, all this stuff, by the time I am how did I meet? Oh yeah. So Don Rich's nephew named Will Erokin, who actually works, I think, for DreamWorks or Spielberg or something like that. Yeah, he does, computer
on
animation.
the spot.
His kid, he's young. His nephew. This is about 7 years ago. Forget exactly. Walks into Cafe Trieste. Me and. How did I meet? Oh yeah. So
Play it again.
Don Rich's nephew named Will Erokin, who actually works, I think, for DreamWorks or Spielberg or something like that. He does,
Works for DreamWorks, Spielberg, nigga. One thing that stood out to me in the movie World of the Worlds, Spielberg does a thing where the crafts are ancient, right? I mean the tripods. Then there's Bob Lazar says the one he worked on was part of an archaeological dig. It was found here. Old as fuck. You know, I bring up Bob Lazar. He's the only one credible with. Because what Congress came out and said, no clues, you pissed me off. So Congress, and I'm checking on this chat. Fuck this chat shit. If I don't see it on the side right here, then I can't go nowhere else. No, I love chat. I hope y'all say something. I hope y'all get into a discussion about this. Anyways, the way the crafts fly, anti-gravity propulsion. That was only I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to drop. Stop. Can't be meepy. I feel like the cat's heavy. Dude was spot on. Now, yeah, dude. And in that movie, Counters as the Third Kind. Yeah, using a litter box. Encounters of the Third Kind. The aliens show up, and right, I guess people that's been lost. It was like Bermuda Triangle. Beg lover. And I've never really heard this. I'm about to look it up right after I say this. Satan's throne sits upon the waters. Is the Bermuda Triangle his throne? And then the movie Count of the Third Kind, these entities show up. That's how he was. He was like, yeah, Nick looked ugly as shit. And yeah, they show up and give people, those missing people from like I think like 50 years ago, a long time ago, and they're perfectly the same age as they was. Looking lost, and it's like Spielberg, you can't just keep hitting these things on the head that they're talking about now. And it could be, you know, they're just using old sci-fi information to kind of like deceive us. Because in a way, it's what we're expected to see. We're expecting to see because of our conditioning. Yeah, we've been conditioned like a motherfucker. So, what was I looking up? I fucking forgot. But let's look up that guy's name.
How did I meet? Oh yeah, so Don Rich's nephew named Will Erokin, who actually works at
Will Erokin. Alright, I'm gonna put this up. Y'all gotta see this. Dude, kind of fucking chill, bro. Goblins and church are clashing. That's Patreon. No, nigga. I'm typing Spielberg.
I think for Dream.
Hey. Yeah, damn. Yeah, go. Go. Dickhead. I hope I'm spelling his name right. Let me put the subtitle. Yeah, I spelled that shit right. Willie Roken. Yeah, then Spielberg talks in that movie Paul today. Man, if y'all don't get the fuck off that box. Producing underway. Of course. Well, we can't find Steve Aoki. Let's look him up on fucking Wikipedia. Of course, that shit would freeze up on me. Anyways. These motherfucking cats. Hang on. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and play this for y'all. Get the shit out these cats. No, the Glover guy. Right, black cover. Lover.
It can hit you.
If you want to see what this team is made of,
Goddamn,
just look at the people around you. It's in every Fred, every Adeline, and every Brittany. It's in all of us. In the first timers and the greatest of all timers. The underdog lovers and the overachievers. The people like you.
I got a news flash for everyone. I'm going to talk about the aliens right now. Oh no, we're going to talk about the aliens. I'm going to show you an alien in real life, bro.
And everyone that's watching this can do it right now. I need you to go to your bathroom, stand in front of your sink. Most people have a mirror there. I'm gonna teach you a way to see the aliens that's gonna blow your mind away. Flick the light on and just look into the mirror and you're gonna see the alien. We are the aliens if you believe in God. If you believe in God, we, human beings, are the aliens. We are not the ones that originated on this earth. The story of creation, Adam and Eve, peace be upon them, they were cast down from the heavens when they fell into temptation. So we're the aliens, Danny. I got a news flash for you. You're an alien, bro. Welcome, man.
Thanks, man. Happy to be here.
I'm sure you come with a Christian upbringing. You've heard the story of Adam and Eve, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. What did it say? We fell from the Garden of Eden, yeah?
Right.
Okay. So you're the alien, Danny?
Yeah, but wouldn't every being from another place be an alien to you? So we are aliens to, if there's another civilization out there, we would be alien to them the same way they're aliens to us. So we're all aliens in that sense, right?
Absolutely. Alien means something foreign or not understood.
Right.
And that concept, I agree with what people say, like there's aliens and we're going to see them. Yes. But I'm going to use the Abrahamic perspective on this. We know from the Jewish, Christian, and Muslim tradition that before we were created, human beings, there was a species created before us. We're not the first species with free will. We always talk about how human beings have free will, right? I just talked about it a little bit right now. I can do whatever I want. Well, we were not the first species created with free will. We hear the word Satan. May he be far from us. May he be cursed. This is the greatest enemy humanity has. Before we were even created by the Creator, this being declared war on us. He was full of envy, full of jealousy. Did not like that God had made another that God would come to love and design and instill greatness into. His spirit, he blew into Adam, the first human being ever created. The devil declared war on Adam before he was even created. Now, from the Christian perspective, and no offense to my Christians, because I love them, they say that the devil was a fallen angel, and they use the word fallen angel. That is, I believe, inconsistencies when we try to translate words from Aramaic, Greek, Arabic into the English language. When we think of the word demon, we only think of it from the English language. Usually when I hear the word demon, it means like evil, they're not good. There can be none that are good. And this is not fair to that species. The species of the devil, as explained from the Islamic tradition, is a being made of a smokeless fire. So it's a flame with no smoke or maybe electricity, we don't know. This species lived on Earth long before us. They have free will, and there's different types of them. They're known as the jinn. J like Janet, I, N like Nancy.
Okay.
It's where the word genie comes from. You rub the bottle, the jinn comes out, and you make a wish to the genie. You basically sell your soul, is what you're doing. The demonic realm, and the way we understand it from the Anglo-Saxon perspective, the Christian perspective, the American perspective, is like there can be no good, or like they're only bad, like The Exorcist, right? Demonic. That's not the case. There is species that lived on this earth before us. The devil, they were very similar to humans in the sense that they had wars with each other. They're on this earth in a parallel dimension. They're on this earth in a parallel dimension. We can't see them, not all of us at least. And this demonic realm is where I believe this alien agenda is coming from. And it's one of my theories, and I'm going to get into this. So,
demonic realm, you call it?
Parallel dimension. These beings interfere, they whisper.
Are they all bad?
No, that's what I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
They're not all bad. So they were very similar in humans in the sense with free will, that they would kill each other. They had wars that, we don't know everything about their history, but there's a lot of it in the Islamic tradition, which is fascinating. And I'm gonna give the correlations to aliens here in a little bit, and my interpretation of what's really going on, I think.
Okay.
So once we were cast down from the heavens, right, because Adam fell into temptation, then God said, okay, all of you get down from here. He granted Satan a second chance, not a second chance, but like he gave him more time before the end of the world to try to lead as many of us as he can astray. He hates us, bro. Okay? He can't stand us. The devil. Satan.
Okay.
That's the thing that weirds me out. It's like, how do you give? Yeah, let's fuck with him. I'll let you fuck around with it. Damn, bro. Like, what are we supposed to do with that? Being born without memory of where, and then turn around, you die. Why did you do this? Didn't you say Satan can fuck with me? I didn't know. It's not an excuse, but damn, it's like second chance. Shaitan, Satan, and Islam could come to and fro from heaven until he was casted out. Because when the humans came, and he was told to bow to them, his ego got in the way. He said no. So, how that went about exactly, I don't know. Make a good movie though. Revenge of the Fallen would be what we call it.
Dan, as the Arabs would call him. But before that happened, he was the best of that species, so God took him up into the heavens. You understand? That's why he was amongst the angels. He was not an angel. An angel does not have free will. An angel is a creation of light, also in another dimension that we can't see, okay? These species are like the soldiers of God. They do not even make a move without being commanded. They don't have free will. So you have the species of the devil, they have free will. The angels don't. When God gave the commandment for all the angels to bow to Adam when he created Adam, the only one that didn't bow was the devil, Satan. The angels all bowed. So how could he have been an angel? Angel doesn't have free will. He would have bowed. He was one of the jinn of the demonic realm. They have free will. You look a little confused, like I'm losing you. What do I need to clarify?
No, I'm wondering where you got this information from.
So
what?
this is from the Islamic tradition, and some of it's from the Christian tradition.
So this is in the Quran?
This is in not in the Quran, and there's some mentions of this stuff. The jinn are mentioned in the Quran, but this is also from the Hadith. Now, the Hadith are basically the equivalent of what I would call the New Testament. Like the New Testament, I don't have Jesus' exact words. I have what Paul thought he heard, Luke thought he heard, John thought he heard, right? Of what happened, right? Those are the testaments. That's why it's called the New Testament. So the Hadith are the Arab version of the testaments. Anyone that ever heard the Prophet Muhammad speak, and then there's a narration. The difference between those testaments and the Christian testaments is that they're preserved a little bit better. So in the Islamic world, the Hadith are like what they believe to be the authentic sayings of what the Prophet said. The Quran is solely the word of God, which should be taken for that and nothing else. The Hadith should be taken with a grain of salt. Some of them may have been his words, some of them may not have been his words. It depends who narrated the chain of those sayings. So they would write, the Prophet's wife, Aisha, said that she heard him say this. So the Muslim would say, well, if it came from his wife, that's probably more authentic than from Tom, Dick, and Harry who said they heard him speak. So they're preserved in that fashion.
Got it.
So a lot of this comes from his expressions of what he said the end of the world would look like, what the end of time would look like, and the correlations between the Christian and the Muslim perspective of the end of times, a lot of it's the same. What will come towards the end of time? The mark of the beast, Antichrist, corruption, all the shit that's going on in our culture. Up is down, down is up.
Right.
All of this was talked about in the Christian faith and the Muslim faith. And a lot of it overlaps. A lot of it. It's fascinating stuff. Why I think where people should start their journey is understanding the occult, understanding that there's these societies that have existed since forever that have penetrated governments, entertainment, you name it, okay? And there's an obsession with the prophet Solomon. Solomon's in all three religions, by the way. Solomon's probably one of the most fascinating prophets you could study. We believe that every prophet had a power. Moses had the rod and his hand glue as bright as the sun. Jesus, peace be upon him, he walked on water. He brought people back from the dead. He did amazing things, bro, right? What was the miracles of Solomon? Solomon had the power to control and to command every living creature in this world and in the world we can't see. He had dominion over both dimensions, the dimension that we live in and the demonic dimension. In the Quran, it even says that he was building his temple and he commanded the demonic realm to dive to the deepest parts of the ocean and to remove pearls and treasures from the sea so he could decorate the temple with it. And these beings would go literally to the bottom of the ocean in a millisecond, in the flash of an eye, and bring him back these jewels. Literally in a second. It mentions the Queen of Sheba in the Quran. And it's also, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's mentioned in the Christian scripture also, where he sent for her to come to his kingdom, and he said, which one of you, and he's talking to the jinn, the demonic realm that I'm talking about, and he tells them, which one of you will bring me her throne by the time she gets her? And then one of them proudly boasts, I will. And within the blink of an eye, this throne appears in Solomon's kingdom. So that when Queen Sheba comes, she sees her throne, she sees her own throne there, and she's like, and we're talking about a massive throne. How is my throne here? And then she realized she's dealing with Solomon, prophet of God, had power over both dimensions, bro. This is why the occult has always obsessed with Solomon. He had power over this dimension and the demonic realm. When they do their rituals, it's always on a checkered board. It symbolizes the two dimensions, the dimension of light and darkness, our dimension and their dimension crossing. Bohemian Grove, all these things that everyone talks about, that's what these rituals are, to Baal. And one of the most important people should study, one of the most important people is Aleister Crowley, the father of the American cult, bro. This guy, when he starts doing all his crazy shit, this is where you see that shift in technology also with people like Jack Parsons. These are people that you need to know, that you need to study to understand where we are today and why these things are literally right in front of our face, because we've been conditioned slowly, gradually to accept this satanic shit that is not normal, man. Very slowly, very subtly. Our enemy has a longer lifespan than we do. The demonic realm, they live longer than we do. They follow us. They communicate. When you're dealing with some fortune teller who's actually saying shit that's real, and you're like, how the fuck do they know? Some of these people have sold their souls. Black magic is real. The evil eye is real. It's something we're going to talk about. It all comes from this dimension that is parallel to ours. My fear is, with everything that's been going on, now that they're declassifying all these documents, and UFOs are real, and supposedly in Peru they were battling 7-foot aliens 2 weeks ago, and then you got people like Stephen Greer who want to say, yeah, it's all real. These are demons, brother. We know that they can travel at the speed of light. The demonic realm, we know this from scripture. We know that Cain, the one who killed his brother Abel, right? First murder on earth. We know that the devil, based on these traditions, shapeshifted into a human being, went amongst the children of Cain and taught them how to make music. That is where music was created. It's actually a demonic inception. So this is where music comes from, because it's the weapon of them. It's the weapon of the demonic realm. Watch a movie without music, you'll never cry. I promise you. You can watch a million things. You know, maybe it'll be a little sad, but unless they play like that Inception music in the background, and then you see in Today I Lost My... Like, you won't feel shit without that sound. It's a very powerful weapon. So we know from some of these traditions, we know especially from the Muslim tradition, that the devil shapeshifted in front and went into the children of Cain and taught them how to play instruments and make music. The Weeknd has been going around since day one, bro. People have been gathering since the beginning of time on the Weeknd to dance to music, bro. Literally, since this whole thing started. The Weeknd has existed since day one on earth, bro. Music is how the children of Adam were mixed again. So when Cain killed his brother, for those of you that don't understand, Adam had many kids. One of his kids was named Cain, one of them was named Abel. Cain killed his brother to take his wife. He really wanted his wife. He took her, he went down from the mountain, because the first human beings lived up in the mountains. Took them down. This is based on, you know, Muslim and Christian, you know, history.
Right.
He went down and started his own community. Adam, before he passed away, commanded his children, the ones that were left on the mountaintop, do not mix with the children of Cain. The only way, now the devil wanted to get them to to mix. So he went amongst the children of Cain, taught them how to make instruments. They heard the sounds. They would come out of curiosity. They would see them dancing once a week. They were having like festivals. This has literally been going on since the beginning of time. The weekend, the party. Since the beginning of time, bro. They see them dancing. They ended up getting closer and closer. They made contact. That was it. They mixed. That's how it happened. But the moral of the story there is that the devil was able to do what? He was able to shapeshift. He was able to change appearance. They talk about shapeshifters with the alien technology, the Anunnaki. We know from Solomon that these species could travel in an instant and not only go to these places, but bring back material objects to him to build his temple. This is in the Holy Quran. So that's the obsession of the occult with Solomon's temple, the intermixing of these two dimensions. I believe that because all of this information is coming out about aliens and all this stuff, is that there will be an event sometime in the future where we will see aliens, but they're not aliens, bro. They are demonic beings that have attacked humanity since day one. Their mission is to lead us astray. Their mission is to make us believe that there is no God, that we came from them.
I can see it. But the funny thing is, why does the Quran say we? We created man and earth. You see what I'm saying? They both on some crazy stuff. I mean, it's not crazy.
The evil eye. I was going through what I thought was a depression because I lost a family member. But I understood after 2-3 years, I'm like, listen, I know the person's never coming back. Life is hard. God designed us. We're all going to... Start over here. 3, 2, 1. It's another day here at the Comeback Team Studios. This is your host, Beck Lover. And I got my sister back in the house. You've seen her on TV. She's a very popular medium. She tells it how she feels it, how she thinks it, how she believes it. She holds nothing back, no filters. Fellow Albanian in the house. The agenda has been to convince humanity that we were created by aliens and not God. To
The
deceive us.
agenda is to convince humanity that we were created by aliens.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was not to convince the world that he doesn't exist. It was to convince the world that he's an alien. I believe technology...
Which is crazy. Maybe they did create us in commandment of the Most High, but tried to corrupt us, and that is why we see what we see. So you got a sect that's like, against us and for us. What was I supposed to look up? Oh, the description of jinn. Let's get into that. Let's see what's why is it that they seem different than the Christian? Alright, let's see what this nigga said, man.
Islam doesn't teach you to blow up a building.
Right.
That's a fact. It doesn't tell you to... First of all, if you take your own life in that religion, you're punished for eternity doing the act that you did. 1 out of 5 people is Muslim. If they were all terrorists the way some of us were treating these people in the U.S., we would have had a much bigger problem than 9/11. I promise you.
Isn't it like it's like almost tied with Christianity?
1.8 billion.
It's like the
It's
second
scheduled
biggest.
to surpass Christianity because of birth rates.
Right.
Okay. And what's sad is that Christians and Muslims actually have more in common than anything else. They both believe in Jesus. They believe he's the Messiah.
True, but they don't believe he's a God, and I don't.
My friend, let me explain something to you.
Okay, let's see what she says.
With FanDuel, your group chat will be blowing up every game of the NBA playoffs. Because right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed.
All right, let's talk about Jacques Vallée. So there's a chapter in your book where you mention, what I think was one of the most fascinating parts that stuck out to me the most was you go to his apartment in Northern California.
Mm-hmm.
Can you describe what happened there?
He has a beautiful apartment and has an amazing view of San Francisco. And so we were in his apartment, and he showed me his library, which is really amazing. And he had a lot of, historical things from the history of ufology in the United States, and things from, European Catholic history, like looked like extant, copies of books about angels and things like that. So it was amazing, and things that belonged to Allen Hynek and things like that.
And you were shocked, I think, to see all of the books that he had on angels that were in his library.
I was.
Would you ask him about that? What did he say about that?
So in the library, he showed me a lot of books about, like I said, the history of ufology, like, historical stuff from Project Blue Book.
Right, that's the kind of stuff that I would expect to see in Jacques Vallée's library.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And so, but most of the library was dedicated to these very old books of angels. And so he took out a couple and he showed them to me. And he had a whole row of angels and a whole row of like fallen angels type thing. And he made some jokes about it, well, if you have one, you have to have the other kind of thing.
And he gave you a book at the end of your meeting with him that day. What was this book?
Okay, so
book on the devil, right?
Well, it was a history of Satan.
Okay.
And it was done by these Carmelite nuns. And so he gave me the book and he said, you should try to acquire this book. It's really good. And I looked at it, and then the paging on it was really interesting. It was the last page was 666. So he laughed and said they had a sense of humor, And so, yeah, that was, at the time I was really shocked by that. And thought it was, what? So it took me a while to actually talk to him about it, because I thought, how do you ask somebody about this, right? So I did ask him, and he said that, and he's right. So the way we see, he was basically suggesting it because of the ways in which, how the ways in which the UFO are made to look kind of a certain way, but when you look into it, they look different. And the same way with religious traditions, like Teresa of Avila's experience with the little angel. If you look at pictures and paintings from that and the statue of that, it looks very different than the primary source material.
Okay, like the description that she actually gave when she wrote it.
Yeah, it looks completely different than what you call it, telephone game. Right? Yeah, so there's telephone game in texts too, right?
Okay.
And in representations of spiritual experiences. So basically he was saying that if you look at the history of this person, not person, with this being, that it's going to look completely different. And the people that did the best biography are these Carmelite nuns who had access to all of the primary source material.
Did you read the book?
So I did look for the book, and I didn't do a hard search for it because I was so busy.
Right.
I haven't been able to, but I do want to acquire the book, absolutely. So no, I have not read it. But his work is basically to look at these texts, just like my work is, to look at the primary sources and to create his own understanding of it instead of looking at what people say about these primary sources. So that's the work he was trying to do with that book.
Now the commercial space.
Wow, this is great. What you said about financing and tax implications has me loving it.
The current zoning allows for a dog grooming business. Do your dogs need to see it too?
Expertise. Just one.
And why he gave it to me. I think he also gave it to me because I'm not sure. He's funny. He's got a good sense of humor. He may have been trying to kind of shock me. I don't know. But it was pretty funny at the time.
So I'm sure you've done a lot of. I'm just interested in this because I'm interested in the devil personally.
Okay.
And one of the famous quotes, I wrote it down here. One of the old sayings that I love is, "The devil has always been the church's best friend because he kept him in business." You've heard that, I'm sure.
Yes.
And I had a guy on here recently who was teaching me all about the devil. He did a little documentary on the history of Lucifer, and he basically said that Lucifer was never real.
Well, I mean, that's like saying God has never been real, right? So we can't actually prove the existence of the beings that people believe in, okay? There's no microscope, okay, this being exists.
Right.
Which is kind of an interesting critique of religion, because there's a lot of things we can't actually prove the existence of. Like when we tried to prove the existence of atoms, they kind of go around, electrons move in different directions, and, so scientists even have a hard time proving what they believe to be like real kinds of things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so as a person who studies religion, when you start to look at the ways in which either Satan, and there is a named Satan in the Bible, which is the Hebrew Bible, Christian Old Testament, and New Testament, right? So, and Lucifer. So you look at these, you see that the Bible's created, it's basically a bunch of different books put together,
Mm-hmm.
and they're written by different people over many, many years, hundreds of years. Okay, so the depictions of like the Satan in the book of Job, for example, looks to be like, he's kind of like a friend of God, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at that depiction of Satan, and then you look at the depiction of Satan in other texts in the Bible, they look to be terrible or something completely different than that. So it doesn't look like there's like a cohesive person or entity that's Satan. Now, if you look at the extra texts that go into the formation of, say, Christianity or, different, like, let's just take Christianity, that's what I'm most informed in. You'll see that there are other texts that talk about this being. And, and then you have people that have experiences of this being or of evil, and they call it Satan. So I haven't listened to that podcast that you did with that person, but in terms of the unreality of it, I would say that if you're looking at a cohesive person, or a cohesive entity called Satan, it's not cohesive within the Bible. You're not going to see that. But if you look at it within the various traditions that discuss this person or assume it, and, in various denominations of Christianity, Satan exists or doesn't exist. So, there are some denominations that don't talk about Satan, even certain factions of one denomination that will talk about Satan or not talk about Satan. So, yeah, that would be my answer.
I think James Fox's creature in Virginia could have been Satan.
Yeah, so exactly. That's my point, is that you have descriptions of weird things like that, and then people ascribe it to Satan. They say, this must be Satan, or this must be a demon, or something like that. Some denominations that don't talk about Satan, even certain factions of one denomination that will talk about Satan or not talk about Satan. So, yeah, that would be my answer.
I think James Fox's creature in Virginia could have been Satan.
Yeah, so exactly. That's my point, is that you have descriptions of
So now we're going to Solomon. See what fuck you're talking about.
The greatest ruler who ever lived. He ruled not only humans, but also animals and demons and jinns. The one who built the temple full of secrets. He could command the wind and the rain and control nature at will. He knew all animal languages and he spoke with them. His interesting life and miracles are astonishing to listeners. What else the powers did he have with his miraculous ring from heaven? His wealth and treasure was unseen.
So let's do this one.
Protect the skin you serve in.
The skin you defend in. Protect your skin with La Roche-Posay's ultra lightweight sunscreen with antioxidants.
To defend against skin cancer.
And prevent.
They claim to have discovered the secrets of Sulaiman. What secrets of Sulaiman? How he controlled the jinn and the animals. We all should know, those of us that have studied a little bit of Islam, that Sulaiman was given something that nobody else was given. We know this? Sulaiman was given something that no other prophet was given, no other person was given. And that's what the dua he made to Allah. Oh Allah, give me a power. Mulk here doesn't just mean a kingdom, it means the power, the mulukiyya, the kingdom or the control that no one after me will have. So Allah says, because of his dua, we gave him the power of the wind. فَسَخَّرْنَا لَهُ الرِّيحَ, right? تَجْرِي بِأَمْرِ رُخَانِ حَيْثُ أَصَابَ. وَالشَّيَاطِينَ, we gave him the power of the shayateen. And in other verses, we gave him the power to speak to animals. So the animals, وَحُشِرَ لِسُلَيْمَانَ جُنُودُهُ مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ وَالطَّيْرِ, and all of the armies of Sulaiman, from the jinn and the ins and the birds, all of these are armies of Sulaiman. So Sulaiman was given the power to control the jinn, okay, and even the animals and the wind. It is said that after Sulaiman died, or according to one opinion, even while he was alive, the shayateen claimed to have unlocked his power. What was the power according to the shayateen? The shayateen said, Sulaiman knows black magic. So he's controlling the jinn through sihr, through black magic. Then Allah defends Sulaiman. وَمَا كَفَرَ Sulaiman. Sulaiman did not commit kufr. وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا. Rather, it was the shayateen who committed kufr. Now, the verse is very difficult to understand without context. The story goes as follows. It is said that during the time of Sulaiman, that somehow they managed to catch him at a time of neglect or whatever, and they started slandering and spreading rumors about him so that people lose respect for Sulaiman. And of the things that they said was that Sulaiman is a magician, and that he controls the jinn through sihr. And Allah says some of the modern Yahud believe this as well. And they're, instead of following the Quran, they're following the shayateen. Then Allah defends Sulaiman. Sulaiman was not a kafir. وَمَا كَفَرَ Sulaiman. This shows us that practicing magic makes you a kafir. Because the jinns accused Sulaiman of being a magician, not of being a kafir. And Allah defended Sulaiman by saying, He didn't say Sulaiman was not a magician. Rather, Allah said Sulaiman did not commit kufr. And from this, the scholars have derived that practicing magic is disbelief in Allah. It was the shayateen who committed kufr. How did they commit kufr? يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرِ. They were the ones teaching magic makes you a kafir.
Wait, so he used it, but he wasn't a kafir. But if you use it, you're a kafir. Just trying to make this, we gotta understand this.
Because the jinns accused Sulaiman of being a magician, not of being a kafir. And Allah defended Sulaiman by saying, He didn't say Sulaiman was not a magician. Rather, Allah said Sulaiman did not commit kufr. And from this, the scholars have derived that practicing magic is disbelief in Allah. It was the shayateen who committed kufr. How did they commit kufr? يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرِ. They were the ones teaching mankind sihr. Sulaiman did not control the jinns through magic. How did Sulaiman control the jinns? Allah gave him the power. Allah subjugated the jinn, not magic.
وغوص الدعاء الخفي الصريح يسعك الفضاء الرحيم الفسيح.
Okay. It was different.
I sympathize with Quranists and progressive Muslims. They realize there are so many absurd hadith and narratives that are simply irrational nonsense. As a result, they have decided to simply ditch the whole lot and stick to the Quran only. The problem is that firstly, the Quran also contains a great deal of highly problematic verses, and secondly, it's difficult to fully understand everything in the Quran without these hadith and narrations. One example is from Surah As-Sad. We certainly tested Solomon and placed on his throne a body, then he repented. What on earth does that mean? The Quran doesn't explain what this sentence means, and on its own, it's anyone's guess. However, hadith and tafsir narrations step in to save the day and relate an enchanting story that could have come straight from Alf Layla wa Layla. It's all about a jinn who stole Suleiman's royal ring where all his magic powers came from and threw the ring into the sea. Then the jinn changed his shape to look like Suleiman and sat on his throne, fooling everyone into thinking that he was King Suleiman. Tafsirs mention that God, however, prevented the jinn from sleeping with Suleiman's wives, which I'm sure I speak for all of us comes as a huge relief. Meanwhile, poor Suleiman was forced to wander about in rags, begging for food, trying to convince people he was the real Suleiman. But no one believed him and refused him food. Then one day a woman took pity on him and cooked him a fish to eat. When Suleiman cut open the fish, he found his ring of power, and so was able to take back his throne from the jinn, who ran away, no doubt muttering something like, "Darn it, I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for that meddling woman and a pesky fish."
The jinn have...
Let's check out the jinn. Who are these niggas?
The jinns used to, from a very old time, and they were here when the jinns were residing on the earth and there was no humans on the earth. They are a nation, or they are a group of beings Allah has created. They have everything similar to us. They eat, they sleep, they have homes, they have religions. They were on this earth and they were doing a lot of mischief.
So between this one and this one.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Atiullah wa ati Rasul wa ulul amri minkum. And it was a reminder for myself, and abdaka al-ajiz al-da'if al-miskeen al-zalim al-jahal, but for the grace of Allah that I'm still in existence, to admit our weakness and our nothingness, so that a divine support to reach, inshaAllah.
Alright, this one is by the Islamic Guidance, The Origin of the Jinn Race.
The jinns used to, from a very old time, and they were here when the jinns were residing on the earth and there was no humans on the earth. They are a nation, or they are a group of beings Allah has created. They have everything similar to us. They eat.
Why they got them looking like that though? That's what
They sleep.
God damn.
They have homes. They have religions. They were on this earth and they were causing a lot of mischief on the earth, and when a messenger would come, they would kill that messenger. And that is when Iblis, at that time, he was a jinn. He was part of their world. And he, ascended high enough that he became part of the world of angels because of his good nature. He was a good being. And he started to worship Allah till he got through to the ranks of the angels, some of the highest angels. In fact, there are certain weak hadiths to say that he even worshipped Allah in every single sky, every single heaven he worshipped Allah. And he got to so close that he then asked Allah to send with him a group of angels to go back to the earth and to banish these jinns, to try and curb the violence on the earth. So Allah allowed that, and he came, he did that, and the jinns were now only a few in scarce places of the world. And that's when he came back up, Allah knew his intentions, because Iblis was looking for his own little high rank, and he wanted to become Mr. Chief. And Allah knew his intentions, so he wanted to show this. And he created Adam alayhi salam, and then he told him to bow. And then here Iblis refused, because he knew the significance of this bowing. That bowing wasn't because of worship. That bowing was to accept the authority of Adam alayhi salam over the jinns and over even the angels. So Iblis saw this and he didn't bow, and therefore we know the clash that happened. He asked for extra time, and he got that. That I'm not going to let this human being and all his progeny off. I want to take as many of them as I can to hellfire with me. And he said, I want to come in front of them, I want to come behind them, I want to come from the right side, I want to come from the left side. Allah, you will not find most of them to be thankful to you. Iblis said, except for those of your servants that are going to be righteous.
If you go to any village, if you go to any city, if you go to any nation, you will find that usually a part of their belief, a part of their myths and their fairy tales, the jinn are mentioned. So whether it be ghosts or spirits or the dead returning in spirit form, these are all what we find in the tradition of the people. Usually they're referring to the jinn. So this unseen world, the unseen, what they call spirits. Concerning their origin and their creation, we know that the jinn are created from a smokeless flame of fire. It means the very edge or the tip of the flame, the purest and hottest part of the flame. This is what the jinn are created from. This doesn't mean that they are now fiery. The Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was in his masjid in Medina, and whilst he was praying, he reached out and he grabbed something. Later on, Aisha radiallahu anha, she narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saw that a shaitan, a devil, a jinn was walking towards him and was going to try and attack the Messenger alayhi salatu salam. So the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam was able to grab hold of this jinn, throw him to the ground. And
shop decor for all for less at the Home and Holiday Superstore at home.
The Messenger alayhi salam had held him, and the words of the Messenger were, until I felt the coolness of his tongue on my hand. And then the Prophet alayhi salam continued and he said, were it not for the prayer of my brother Sulaiman, I would have tied up this devil in the morning so that each of the people could see him. Because Sulaiman alayhi salam said, oh Allah, don't give anybody a kingdom like mine after me. We know that from the kingdom of Sulaiman alayhi salam was that Allah had given him the ability to do what? To have control of the jinn. Normally we cannot see the jinn unless they take the form of animals or they take the form of humans. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, referring to shaitan, verily he and his followers or his tribe, they see you from where you cannot see them. The Messenger alayhi salam, he told us that there are three types of jinn. One type flies through the air. And these are the types of jinn which can cover vast distances in a very short space of time. They can go huge distances that would take us hours or days to travel. The jinn of this type which flies, they can cover these distances in the blink of an eye. Another type comes in the form of snakes and dogs. And a third type is based in one place, but it travels about. Ya ikhwan, it's important to note that they have their own religions. Sometimes when we think of jinn, we think that they're all disbelievers. We think that they are all evil. But this isn't the case. So you will find jinns who are Hindu, Sikh, Muslim, atheist, those who worship the devil, they have their own religion. Is every jinn a shaitan? And is every shaitan a jinn? The answer is no. You get shayateen from amongst mankind, and you get shayateen from amongst the jinn. But not all jinn are devils. We've already established that there are those who are Muslims. What do they look like? What's the appearance of these shayateen now? So when I say shayateen, I'm referring to the evil, rebellious, disbelieving ones from amongst the jinn. Whenever we think about jinn, we always have a very ugly picture in our heads. In our minds, we always have a scary, frightening image. And indeed, this is what the shayateen, they look like. We know that the shaitan, he has two horns. It's a hadith which is recorded by Imam Muslim on the authority of Ibn Umar radiallahu anh, that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, do not pray when the sun is rising or when the sun is setting, because it rises between the two horns of the shaitan. Some of the commentators of this hadith, what they have said is that this is the time when those people who worship the sun, they are worshipping. So when the sun rises and the sun sets, this is when those people who worship the sun, they are doing their worship at this time. So whilst they are worshipping, the shaitan, he comes and stands in front of them, and as the sun rises or sets, it rises through his horns. This is what some of the people have mentioned. We know that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was sent as a messenger for all of the worlds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the beginning of Surah Al-Jinn, say, it has been revealed to me that a group from amongst the jinn, they have listened and they have said, indeed we have heard an amazing Qur'an. We also know that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he was in Medina and he disappeared. And the companions were terrified. Somebody has taken the messenger of Allah. In the morning, the messenger alayhi salatu wasalam, he came back. And they were amazed. Where have you been, O messenger of Allah? We've spent the whole night looking for you. He said, I went with the jinn. He told them that he had been giving da'wah to the jinn. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took some of his companions and showed them where he had been giving da'wah to the jinn. And the companions narrated that we could see the remains of the fires that they had lit. We know, ya ikhwan, the jinn, their world is for them and our world, it is for us. They have their own rules, they have their own scholars, like we've mentioned, like the ones who listened to the Messenger alayhi salam, went back and started giving da'wah to the people. They have their own laws, they have their own civilization. It's not for us to meddle or get involved in their world, and it's not for them, it's not permissible for them to meddle or get involved with our world. We mentioned that in general we cannot see the jinn. Some of the animals, they can see the jinn. The Prophet ﷺ told us in a hadith which is recorded by Imam al-Bukhari, if you hear the crowing of a rooster, then ask Allah for his bounty, because this rooster has seen an angel. And if you hear the braying of a donkey, then seek refuge in Allah, for it has seen a devil. Also, the Messenger ﷺ told us, if you hear the barking of a dog, then seek refuge in Allah, because they see what you do not see. What do the jinn eat and what do the jinn drink? Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh, he narrates that the Prophet ﷺ, he relieved himself and then he ordered Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh to bring him some stones. And the Prophet ﷺ told Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh, do not bring me bones nor bring me dung. He said, they are the food of the jinn. So when we are eating our chicken and our lamb and whatever it might be, and we have the bones and we get rid of the bones, if the jinn come across this, and these are the good believing jinn, then this will be food for them by the permission of Allah. The eating habits of the shayateen. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, as is recorded by Imam Muslim, when any one of you eats, let him eat with his right hand, and when he drinks, let him drink with his right hand. For the shaitan eats with his left hand and he drinks with his left hand. The jinn, they marry and they multiply. The jinn, they can and they do fall in love with human beings. This is one of the reasons why jinn possess a human being, is due to love. Some of the abilities of the jinn. In the times before the Prophet ﷺ came, the jinns, they would ascend to very high places in the sky. And then they would try and eavesdrop, to try and listen to what was going on in Jannah. What was the decree from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Then those jinn, they would bring it back and they would whisper it into the ear of the fortune teller. But when the Prophet ﷺ was sent, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused the skies to be guarded by stars and shooting stars. And then they weren't able to listen anymore. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, referring to what the jinn said, and we tried to reach the heavens, but we have found it filled with powerful gods and burning flames. And we used to try and listen, but whoever tries to listen now, he will find a burning flame lying in wait for him. After he came, the heavens were guarded, and they are still guarded by these stars and by these flames. So when you see the shooting star, then you know that it is a shaitan being pursued. Jabir ibn Abdullah radiallahu anh, he narrates that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when the night falls or when evening comes, bring your children, keep your children inside, for the devils, they spread out at that time. Then when 1 hour of the night has passed, let them out again, and lock the doors and mention the name of Allah, for the shaitan cannot open a locked door over which the name of Allah has been mentioned. One of the abilities that the jinn have is to possess human beings. Many people, they completely reject this. Indeed, the shaitan flows through the veins of the son of Adam like his blood. Indeed, the plot of shaitan is weak, and sufficient is Allah as a disposer of affairs.
Well, that was interesting. And I'm tired. So the jinn act, move, and behave like motherfucking aliens. And they try to get to heaven. And that's what I was thinking too, like, what if there's a section of aliens that got exiled and now they can't get out? Just like us. Get in. Boo boo. Alright. It's time to go to bed, man. I'm getting off here. Good night.